my guests. I love this theme song from Reading Rainbow. It's just like upbeat, and it's so true that books can take you anywhere. And before I go on, because I usually forget to tell people if they don't know who I am your host, Diane Gatsis Havinga. It is Monday. I can't believe it's already Monday, September 17th, and we are doing our annual Fall for the Books and Access Library program. And we have a new person to introduce you to, Jennifer Renee Edwards with the Fairfax County Library. She's the program director, and we're going to talk about Fall for the Books, talk a little bit about her background. But Jennifer, going back to that theme, I am also really thrilled to announce that this last August, I read 2 books. I haven't done that in, like, we won't even say. My daughter was just kind of like, okay. And they were the young authors books. But I have to tell you, they were thick. I mean, we're talking thick books.
Yeah.
And I would stay up past midnight reading, and they were wonderful.
Yay.
And I was like, 2 books, yay for me. So anyway, let's talk just a little bit about your background, because you said that this position you're in currently is a new one for you.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I've worked with children since 1992. I started out as a school teacher. I taught 3rd grade. Then I became a school librarian. And then in 2007, I started working for Fairfax County Public Library as the Early Literacy Services Manager. So I kind of oversaw the programming for birth to 5.
So early literacy, this could be any child in Fairfax County who is just starting to learn to read. And
yeah, we provided support, or we provide support for teachers, parents, and children in that age range, birth to 5.
Okay, so you did that, and now you're in this particular position. So tell us about this particular position that you're in.
I am the library's program director, and so I basically provide support to our 22 branches as they program for customers of all ages. My primary focus is adult services, so I'm looking for system-wide events that would invite people to want to get out of their house at 7 o'clock at night to attend. We have author events, and we have a myriad of other different events and branches across the county for not only adults, but for children and teens as well.
And of course, one of the biggest events, I would think, for the year is the upcoming Fall for the Books event, which is pretty, I think, huge, because it's located at various locations besides libraries. So can you tell us a little bit about this upcoming event, which is in October, right?
10th through the 13th.
Okay.
Yeah. I have to say, working on the committee that planned all the events around this festival has been truly just awe-inspiring, because the event hosts over 150 authors in locations all throughout Fairfax County. So there are events on GMU's campus, there are events at the Osher Lifetime Learning Center, and we have authors and branches throughout Fairfax County as well. This is its 20th year.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so they're having like 20th year celebrations throughout the festival. Yeah, it's a pretty amazing event.
And I have had the opportunity to go to them in the past, and we still talk, my one daughter and I, about the one, she wasn't an author, she was a narrator. And narrates the Outlander series.
Oh, wow.
And she gave a talk presentation about how that all developed, and it was really fascinating, because she's English, and she was originally turned down because for the part, I don't know if that's the role, for the narrator, because she wasn't Scottish, even though she had the Scottish accent. And she said a month later, they called her back and said, we're going to let you do the narration, because the actual Scottish narrator, no one could understand.
Yes.
So, I mean, and we just kind of happened upon that, you know, like we were there for the author of the Outlander series, and had some time. We went there, and it was delightful. And so what are some of the people, what would you say would be the highlights?
Well, one of the most interesting events, I think, is happening at Burke Center on Friday at 4:30. We're having Craig Grossi there, and he wrote a book called Fred and Me. And the thing I like about this book is that it's a book he wrote for adults, but it was rewritten for children. So we're advertising it as a children's event, but it really is for all people. But Craig Grossi had a very interesting life. He served in Afghanistan, found a dog, and adopted it, named it Fred because he said it looks like a Fred, and brought him back to the States. And Fred was really instrumental in helping him transition back into life as a civilian, and helped him as he suffered through PSST, post-traumatic stress.
Right.
Yeah. And then we also have Tayari Jones, who wrote the book An American Marriage. She's going to be on GMU's campus. And this was an Oprah book club pick. And it's a really interesting story about a man and a wife who are newly married. The man is wrongly convicted of a crime. He serves time in prison, and then you kind of look at the unraveling of this marriage as the wife tries to cope with her husband being in prison, and then the man in prison's trying very much to keep his marriage intact.
And so these, again, we should say, all these events are free.
Yes, ma'am, they're all free.
And you don't need to sign up. You can just go. Now, are there some ticketed ones that you need to, or does it matter? Because most of the so-called big items are at George Mason's campus.
And they have the spacing.
They have the big space, and parking would be free. So anything in the local areas like Pohick Library and Richard Byrd's, because they're closer to Green Spring than George Mason, although that's only about 20 minutes.
Yeah. Well, we're having Robin Farzan at Pohick Regional. He wrote the book Hotel Scarface. So if you are interested in the drug cartel in Miami in the 70s and 80s, this will be the presentation for you. And then at Kingstown, we're having Daniel DeVice. He wrote The Comeback of Greg LeMond. And Greg LeMond, who I didn't realize, was an American cyclist who won the Tour de France 3 different times. And many people consider him to be the greatest American cyclist of all time. So he's going to be there talking about his book.
That was before he got busted, though, I think.
Yeah.
But they say they all dope, so who knows? But okay. So he wrote it. Oh, that would be interesting. Okay. So if people want more information, they can, I'm assuming, go to the libraries, but they can also go online, right?
Yeah, the Fall for the Book, they have a wonderful website that really nicely breaks down the schedule of events. They also have this very beautiful program, and I'm telling you, when I say 150 authors, it's quite intense. So get out your highlighter and highlight all the activities you want to participate in.
And again, you don't need a library card.
Don't need a library card.
But I don't know why you wouldn't have one, because...
Yes.
And we'll have Ken talk about how you can get a library card. In fact, Ken actually, a lot of his access programs here on campus, part of it has to do with having residents get a library card. And I didn't even realize until just recently that people who work in the county can get library cards. I mean, I thought, wow, that's pretty cool.
And I can even top that. If you live in a surrounding county like Prince William, you can get what we call a reciprocal library card. So you can have a library card in Prince William and a Fairfax County Public Library card as well.
No, I didn't know that either. Is that true with Arlington County too?
I believe all the other systems have that reciprocal relationship with other systems. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's good to know. So after Fall for the Books is finished, what other events would be coming up in the like later on in this year that you would think we would like to know?
Well, coming up, we have, as far as kind of the event that I'm kind of overseeing, we have Walter Mosley coming in February at the Alden, February 24th, I believe, and he is the author of Devil in a Blue Dress, which was made into a movie starring Denzel Washington.
So, well, that's cool. And anything you'd want to leave the residents with? Last thoughts?
Well, I just hope they come out to the Fall for the Book events. Like I say, a lot of work has gone into preparing these with the idea of encouraging readers like yourself to keep on reading, to read 2 and more books. And seeing these authors, I think, is really inspiring.
Well, that's great. And Jennifer, it's really a delight to finally get to meet you. We've been planning this for quite a while, and I know we'll probably be talking in the future and having you come on, but please feel free to come on at any time that you want to promote something. And where are you? So are you located at the main library or at Fairfax County Government Center?
At the Government
At the
Center.
Government Center. But I'm sure if you want to contact Jennifer, you could go on the library webpage, and that webpage is just full of all sorts of information.
Amazing.
So thank you so much.